Greetings, humans, and welcome to a special edition of The Smoke Show. I am your host, Josh Smokey Hell Nelson, and this is a follow up to the definitive statement for 2021, episode 10, all about my guys. My guys. Before we check in with those guys, please take a moment and hit subscribe on our new YouTube page. With all of our feature interviews available to watch, plus bonus videos and classic micro interviews being dropped every Flashback Friday, you won't want to miss any of the action. If YouTube is not your preferred consumption method, please hit that subscribe on whichever the fine podcasting platforms you're listening to this on so you don't miss hearing the perspectives that we present. This podcast is brought to you by the Fantasy Points Media Group. The Fantasy Points Media Group is home of the in-your-face like 97 Mason lineup of shows that include the True North Fantasy Football Podcast, Dynasty Happy Hour, Play to Win, Dynasty Vipers, Injury Prone Podcast, newest edition, Campus Canton, and of course, the Fantasy Points Podcast. You can follow the team on Twitter at FantasyPTS Live and watch out for the week in review threads that drop every Friday. Speaking of hot shit dropping, I've got stuff to give away! To celebrate the release of the Smoke Show's merchandise line with Veridian Global, go to VeridianGlobal.com for all your football fashion needs. That is VERIDIAN Global.com for all of your football fashion needs. We've got a crazy giveaway in true Smokey fashion. This giveaway is sponsored in part by the Fantasy Points Media Group. This giveaway is very simple. The first 3 people to sign up at fantasypoints.com with the promo code 21Smokey10 and send me a screenshot, not only get 10% off the already best bang for your buck from a lineup of professionals that lineups of professionals wish that they could be. I mean, names like recent Smoke Show interviewees John Hansen and Joe Dolan, Greg Cosell, Adam Kaplan, Tom Browley, Graham Barfield, Scott Barrett, Wes Hubert. Do these names ring a bell? They should, because they are the all-star cast in the industry. Again, go to fantasypoints.com and use the promo code 21Smokey10. That is 21SMOKEY10. Send me a screenshot. That's it. So easy. The first 3 get a free Smoke Show t-shirt from the new line of VeridianGlobal.com. And everyone who uses my promo code will also be entered to win this deck of bicycle playing cards. Yes, that's right. That's an official deck of bicycle playing cards with my alternate Joker logo adorning the backside. That logo, as well as basically all of my graphics work that you see, was done by the incredible Dan Made Graphics. So you can follow on Twitter at Dan Made Graphics. He is a gem of a graphics designer and an even better human. So yes, get your hands on the grand prize of this giveaway, which also includes instructions for a new card game of my creation using the Smokey deck called Smokey's Bluff. FantasyPoints.com, promo code 21Smokey10, and get yourself some free swag. While you're at it, shoot me a follow at the_smoke_show. And you can follow me at Smokey Hell NFL on Twitter and all the Sports Me app. Talk sports, talk shit. If you don't know, now you know. I think that takes care of the technical shit. Let's do this. Smoke Show! So, as I mentioned, this is a follow-up to the My Guys episode, where we check in and see how my flag plants are handling the year 3 games in. Yes, the sample size is small, but we play a game of small sample sizes, so it's nice to see the progress from preseason hype to wherever they're at now. First up, one of my most rostered players heading into the year, Mr. Darnell Mooney. Now, he's currently sitting at wide receiver 68 in PPR scoring as of Monday, September 27th, when I'm recording this for the 3rd time. Let's provide some context behind that, though. First, he has been catching balls from Andy Dalton, who is contractually obligated not to throw more than a dozen yards down the field at any given time. Now, this is going to be a hindrance to a player who can make his bones in the vertical game. When Dalton went down with a knee injury, we were treated to the ascension of Justin Fields, someone who many have viewed as being able to really unlock the Chicago offense, and Mooney in particular. Which would have been great if that's how it actually happened. Fields put up a stinker against Cleveland in his first start. But when you're sacked 9 times in your debut as an NFL starter against a likely playoff team, you can't expect miracles. Fields does get Detroit next week, who has an exploitable secondary, but Nagy comes out today and says they're looking at all 3 quarterbacks heading into week 4, meaning Foles is now in consideration. This is beyond ridiculous. Nagy is getting Fields killed out there. It is past time to get rid of Nagy, get rid of Pace, and give Fields, Mooney, and Robinson a fresh start with someone not calling plays from their own butthole. Bringing it back to Mooney, though, the encouraging thing is he's seeing the target volume. So far, racking up 19 in the first 3 games. Now, that's the same amount as Robert Woods, Tyler Boyd, A.J. Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, and more names, or more than names, like DeAndre Hopkins, Julio Jones, Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, all names that were going much higher than Mooney in draft season. His yards per target average is a paltry 5.3. But I've mentioned the quarterback woes that he's dealing with. However, his yards per reception average is 8.4. So he's creating for himself after the catch, but he's going to need some stability under center to help with that. Overall, my confidence in Mooney to this point, unwavering. Next up is my pre-draft QB1 from the 2020 NFL Draft, Mr. Tua Tagovailoa. Now, currently, he's on IR with broken ribs, an injury that is just the worst because you can literally do nothing for it. I have some personal experience in this realm as I've broken all of mine, left side twice, as I played a pretty physical brand of hockey when I was growing up despite my smaller frame. What sucks is there's really not much to comment on. He had a decent enough week 1 that included a rushing TD, but getting injured in week 2 really cut that small sample size down even smaller. As long as they give him time to heal properly, I'm not concerned. He's getting his full complement of receivers, getting up to game speed ahead of him. So when he comes back, I expect to see the numbers start popping. Until then, it's just a wait and see. Up third is going to be a painful one as we are moving on to Trevor Lawrence. T-Law, who is currently QB 29 on the season, has posted up less fantasy points in 3 games than Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts, and even Tyrod fucking Taylor have put up in only 2. He is tied for the league lead in interceptions with Zach Wilson, who have 7 apiece. He is getting less rushing attempts than Taysom Hill, who isn't even a starting quarterback, and Jacoby Brissett, who has started all of 1 game. That sneaky rushing floor was the worst kept secret skill in fantasy offseason. It's been non-existent on the NFL field. He has made some spectacular throws that remind you why he was so highly touted as a generational prospect. He has also made some throws that make you wonder if all he did was study the 2018 Josh Allen game tape. He's a rookie and he'll need time. Even Peyton Manning didn't light the world on fire as a rookie. What concerns me the most is the organization around him. Much like Pace and Nagy in Chicago, Balky and Urban are already a millstone around the Jacksonville Jaguars' neck. I'm so flustered by this next bit here. This morning, they traded off their top 10 pick from 2020, former Gator, CJ Henderson, and a 5th-round pick for tight end Dan Arnold, and a third. You're giving up on a top 10 pick after 1 season for Dan fucking Arnold? I mean, just because someone is a Jag doesn't mean you have to sign him to the team and make it official. Terrible decisions being constantly made around Lawrence is not going to help him make this first season any easier. Thankfully, the schedule is a bit easier over the next little while, aside from Miami's D in week 6, which are for real, which might give Lawrence an opportunity to get right. I can only imagine how hard it is to put a team on your back while you're also trying to shake the 2-headed monkey of Urban and Balky off of it. Last up, it's going to be another heartbreaker, but not quite in as bad shape as T-Law. I'm talking about my large adult son, the man whose fan club I am presidente of, Mr. Kyle Anthony Pitts. Currently tight end on the 13 on the year. To the casual box score fan, he has been disappointing. While Kelsey is averaging 2.6 fantasy points per game, less than your total season output to date, the haters will come flying out of the woodworks, and I can't lie that some of it's justified. But my perspective on Pitts was always one of patience. It might not have showed up in the box score, but he allowed the Falcons to come back and win on that kick yesterday. And he has been displaying that ability to create for himself as he trails only Kelsey and Mark Andrews in yards per reception with 12.6 of tight ends with more than 10 receptions on the year. He's tied for tight end 7 with Andrews again and Noah Fant for targets with 17. Fant slightly edges him out because of a TD pushing him over, even though his numbers overall are not quite as good as Pitts. I'm speaking from a biased perspective as Pitts is my most rostered player across all of my leagues and formats. But this is a My Guys show. Of course I'm biased. The stats don't lie though, man. Pitts is quietly doing everything he needs to. Atlanta's offense is fairly anemic so far, and Matt Ryan in particular needs a kick in the ass and a giant improvement. Most of all, they need to keep getting Pitts involved more. He went from a 69% nice snap share in week 1 to an 80% snap share in week 2 and increasing again to 84% in week 3. However, this week his targets fell off trajectory, and that just can't happen. Atlanta, wake the hell up! You spent one of the most valuable draft picks you've ever had as an organization on Pitts. Take the damn bubble wrap off and involve him. Use that ridiculous wingspan in the red zone. Get him some targets. I mean, do we really need to be involving Cordero Patterson as much as we are? Don't get me wrong. I love the guy. He was my hit last week on waiver suggestions on the Jet Sweep show, debuting again tonight, episode 2. Tune in at halftime. But come on, man. It's Kyle fucking Pitts. If it's not Ridley, it's Kyle fucking Pitts. And I wouldn't be upset at equal usage for both of those guys, who should be completely dominating the market share in the Atlanta Falcons offense. Fuck! So there you have it. We have completed our first check-in on Smokey's flag plants. My guys for 2021. I am still putting my name on this, and y'all can either congratulate or condemn me for these come the end of the season. To do so, please hit me up on Twitter at SmokeyHellNFL and on this SportsMe app at SmokeyHellNFL, and we can talk what you think about my guys so far. Thank you so much for listening. I would greatly appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button. And if you use my promo code 21Smokey10 at fantasypoints.com, let me know, man. It helps me out huge and it convinces those guys to keep me around. This podcast is presented by the Fantasy Points Media Group. This has been a special episode of The Smoke Show. My name is Josh Smokey Hell Nelson. I'm out!